BTC still doing its thing while these alts are starting to put a little bit of pressure on the upside. Things are looking good. I've got a major chart here that has broken a weekly downtrend. We haven't seen a breakout on the weekly in months on this chart. So things are looking or lining up quite nicely here for these altcoins, but there's a couple of things in the way. So today I'm going to give you my plan. I'm going to give you some targets on some of these alts that I'm looking at right now. We're going to update some of these banger tokens that we've been trading lately and potentially some new entries for the degens as well. There's lots going on here today. We got tons to talk about. Let's get right into it. And you're hitting the likes, you're hitting the bell, you're hitting the subscribe, you're doing your thing. And the more you do that, the longer these goggles will remain. Look at this, man. Those goggles are looking great. And Tony says, give Ray 100 likes before the show. Okay, Banter Bubbles doing its thing again for us. Did you guys know, actually, Banter Bubbles has been upgraded. This thing's turning into an absolute animal at the moment. So this stuff is really going down. If you're not using Banter Bubbles, make sure during this bull market, you are on this thing and taking advantage. You can click on all these tokens. There's a newsroom. There's all sorts of stuff going on here for you. And let's just take a look. It's green everywhere. Okay, it's what we like. And PopCat, look at this thing, 14% on the right, doing well. Bonk has come alive. We have touched on Bonk lately. It's broken the 50-day MA. It's broken weekly pivots. It's looking pretty sexy. So that is going well for us. Lido at the bottom, you know, that's one of my positions there. That thing is moving. WIF was one of the biggest movers as well. And I'm not sure why it's only showing 6% here. But overall, things are looking great. And 𝗧, I mean, this 𝗧 is an absolute ripper at 25%. So let's take a look at what is going on here on the 1 hour. And as usual, okay, and I'm saying as usual because it's been like this for the entire week. And BTC is just chopping around. But what it's doing while it's chopping around in these types of bullish zones, it's giving you this popcorn effect on these altcoins. They are rocking everywhere. They are blowing up at different times. And there's so much action here. So long may this continue. But what we can see here is we are approaching a decision time. Okay, we've got a trend coming up here. This trend takes us somewhere, you know, Thursday, Friday, okay? There could be a move coming here. At some point, we've got to hit that trend, and then there's a big decision. Is it going to be a pump? Is it going to be a breakdown? Is there going to be more pain? So right now, while this happens and while we are chopping around, the big zone that I still am locked on at the moment is the 62K level. So there's no changes here for me from that view for this whole week, okay? We know we've got liquidity down there, and that 62K, big area for me. And then same to the upside. If we do start putting pressure on the upside here, I do expect some kind of squeeze. Okay, we've knocked on this door a couple of times now. Okay, and you can see this. We actually starting to put a little bit of upside pressure here as well. Little rising trend here on the 1 hour. So if we do get a lot of what is James saying here? What happened to Ray's Dodge pivot party? What's going on here?
Can we let them know it's in profit? Can we let them know it's in green?
Okay, so upside 65 to 66, we can see that is a big zone for us. If we do get a squeeze, I've got my eyes on the 68, 69K level on the 1 hour, which is what we're going to be watching. Okay, downside levels, you got it, 62K. If things get super ugly here, we're chasing 60. Okay, it's as simple as that. That is going to be our next sort of bullish bounce area where we are going to look for some long. So these alts will naturally be under pressure there, but you know, no changes. All is looking good there as a whole. Okay, I've got just a couple of tweets here today that we're going to look at from a news perspective, and then we're getting straight into some of this altcoin alpha. So we got lots happening here, and Marty Party just dropping 10 market caps, including precious metals and Bitcoin. He's trying to show you what BTC's price needs to be. Okay, currently it's number 10 at 64K. So it's the number 10 in the top 10 market caps. To get to number 9, 72K BTC. So it's actually going to take or overtake Facebook or Meta. And if we start pushing things like to get to number 4 at 150K BTC, will we see that in this cycle? Are we going to actually see that? But at these numbers, it's going to overtake Nvidia at number 4. Now, I think gold's going to be slightly a slight challenge, 909, but maybe in the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, maybe we do see these types of levels on BTC. So just the interesting data there. What is Mia saying? She says her trades have been what, Ray? What did she say there in the chat? My trades have been kind. Yes, look, we've been in good conditions. Okay, let's enjoy these green conditions. Remember, if you've been watching this show for the last 6 months, we've dealt with lots of bear moments, lots of chop, lots of up, lots of down. So let's enjoy the profits here. Again, make sure you are taking along the way. The market is great, but you don't want to get caught in a situation. You get over leveraged, too many positions, it all falls over. And then you start starting again. Okay. And you get multiple restarts here in these markets. And what are we doing here, right? What are we doing? Are we hitting the bullhorn here?
Well, bullhorn, and they could join Sniper Club for extra information to stay protected.
There you go. Okay, you can hang out with us in Sniper Club, and you get the stuff. Okay, so just talking about these big market caps and things. I just wanted to touch on the S&P again. So this thing is still super bullish, and all is well. Okay, so the market's looking strong here. The S&P is fine for me, and our main support 5,660. Naturally, if we dip down there, we're going to be in a situation where there's going to be pressure on crypto. Okay, naturally, if we get these meltdowns here on the S&P, I would expect some downside on crypto as well. So we're going to watch that one closely. And S&P 5660 is what I'm watching. Now, this thing is also like an absolute freight train. Everybody's talking about gold. And I mean, you can see why. I mean, look at the size of the current market cap. And, for BTC to be equivalent to this thing, it's going to be $900,000. I mean, it's a little bit crazy. But if you guys want to speculate, now we can do astrology for men, which is what I do. And basically, if we want to speculate on targets here, we've got 2,800 as a possible next rejection area for gold. So we've already tapped the 1.618 fib, and you can see we floated around that region. So it's relatively reliable as a target maker. And if we start looking at the 2618, for me, 2,800, maybe a nice little rejection on gold. Not quite ready to pull out the gold trade on the Prime XBT. We're going to wait for one of these areas higher up, and then we can maybe get a little bit of action there on gold. And then while this is all happening, we know we've got so much bullish news in the markets at the moment, and everything is flying. And every day we're getting a bit new information. And here's Vivek just talking about the global M2 money supply exploding again. Okay, and it looks like a little slingshot effect is going to be underway. You can see the BTC price is lagging, and it generally tracks this thing all the way. So we're looking at a big solid slingshot here on BTC. So definitely exciting times, but let's not get wrecked while this is happening. Okay, we've got to be responsible here, especially with our leverage things. And there is one caveat to today's bullish news. Okay, and I was saying yesterday, we need to be cautious. At some point we could get a flush out, we could get some kind of downside, and this is something for us to consider. Okay, Friday is a big day for BTC. $5.8 billion in options are expiring. Okay, basically max paying price is 58K. So what do these guys typically want to do? They want to try and push the price as low down as possible to minimize things for them. Okay, so what do? We expect volatility. Okay, I'm not saying max pain that we can hit that's 58K, but we have seen in the past they've often targeted it, and the higher Bitcoin pushes, obviously the less likely it becomes. But we need to understand that there could be volatility and some downside leading into Friday. Okay, so make sure you are calculating your risk carefully there with some of your leverage, and you are putting stops in some great zones. Now I just want to refresh this liquidation map. This always gives us a nice little picture as to what is going on today. And we can see that 65K zone that I've spoken about, that 200-day MA, looks like a nice juicy zone for us here at 65K. Nice little area. And any little moves to the downside, look how thick this is here, down to 63K. Okay, nice little push to the downside at 63. Let's just compare one more time where 63 is, and let's just highlight that for you guys. That's bang. Okay, that is roughly here at that wick, and you will see this wick is most likely some kind of 618 fib as well. So let's just take a look here and see what they're going to give us. Let's take a fib from these lows here. We want to just make sure we've got our 618. There it is. Okay. So it's a little bit lower than that. So 63K. So it would be a little flush. You'd probably see that 786 fib, but let's not take that off the table. A little quick move down into that little area. So just, some little tight things here for us to watch at the moment. And then BTC on the daily before we jump into altcoins. And you can see like both sides. My view hasn't changed here yesterday. If we do start popping the 200-day MA, I expect quite a quick move into the 68K region. You can see we've got a nice little downtrend here, looking good for us. And, don't be surprised if they do leak us down to 60K. Both scenarios are here on the table now for BTC. If you're looking at this on the 3-day chart, it's reasonable. Both sides, 1-to-1 here. The risk reward both ways is currently equal for me. So anything can happen here at the moment. Now, let's jump into this important chart that we were looking at earlier today on the tile. And, why is this important to me? Well, this is a weekly downtrend for total 3. Okay, this is a descending wedge here, and this thing has been popped. Now, what is total 3? Total 3 is the altcoin market excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum. So it's a nice global picture as to the rest of the market, as to what is going on. And this thing is that's pretty bullish that we are breaking this weekly trend. So things are looking good from that perspective. And again, once we're breaking trends like that, it doesn't mean we can't get some kind of retest. It doesn't mean we don't get some kind of breather, some kind of pullback. But overall, okay, this is a good start for us. You can see MDX Wave Master at the bottom is also pretty low here. Okay, looking like it wants to turn higher. So there are signs here that things could be looking a little bit better for us. So what I am watching here is the 200-day moving average. Now we've seen that come into play on BTC already. Okay, that's resistance for it. It's resistance for Solana. It's resistance for a lot of altcoins at the moment. And this thing needs to fight that zone. So if we do get a push up this week, I do expect a couple of targets to be hit on some of these altcoins if we get this little push. But let's be cautious on Friday for this options expiry here. Might give us a little rejection on that 200-day MA. Okay, and that's going to give us an opportunity to reset some of our alts and try and grab some new entries and things like that as well. So keep your eyes on this chart. 200-day MA, it's a big one for us to the upside. If we break through that, then this thing turns super bullish for us. And but right now, just like that other chart I mentioned yesterday, we got a little bit of a war zone ahead. But overall, the picture looks good for us, and we are comfortable. We are comfortable with the long-term view here that we are going up. Okay, so the picture is turning right for us. And then dominance, again, we need this for our altcoin charts and things like that. Dominance on the daily, you can see we're still below our weekly previous support. And now we've broken down. Naturally, we want to just see this bleed out lower, and that's going to push our altcoins a little bit higher. As you can see at the moment, I mean, the last 5 days, look at this. Look at these nice red candles pushing down. And you would have noticed 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗕, PopCat, everything you've bought, right? Everything you've bought has gone up. Okay, even Celestia, I expect, might have even gone up in the last couple of days, right? Is he trading this thing yet? I don't know. What is he doing? He's rolling things. He's rolling short.
Pretty short.
Okay, so let's go. Okay, let's talk ETH quickly. Okay, because this is relevant to the market. Okay, so whether you like ETH or hate ETH or whatever the story is, it doesn't matter. Okay, but this is important to see the health of the market as a whole. And there was $62.5 million ETF ETH inflows yesterday. Okay, it's a great start. The day before, they absolutely rugged everyone and sent 79 down. So 62.5, that's a good start. That's relatively bullish for the market. It's telling us that people are interested in ETH. So, again, no changes on ETH. I'm sitting in that ETH position. No changes for me. Okay, upside target 2.8 to 2.9, downside target 2.480. Okay, if we do get a dip into that zone, anyone who's missed it in the ETH position, that's a long for me. 2,480. If you're pushing into 2,800, 2,900, that's the TP zone. Okay, just be cautious up there. And but overall, ETH looking healthy. Things are looking good out there for us. Now, let's talk Solana. That was on the tile. And I think Sol is a sleeping giant. Okay, it's been so quiet lately. We know that. Okay, but we have seen signs. At the moment, we've had the AI guys pumping. We've had some gaming tokens pumping. Where have we seen this movie before? Okay, what comes next? Solana, that starts ripping. What happens then? You've seen that. PopCat, you've seen that. And those type of things. So my attention is on Solana. And I think when the action comes back, we know these DJs are going to start trading their memes again. Pump.fun. All the situation is going to happen again. And what do they need? They need Sol to trade these memes. Okay, if you're trading all these memes and you're holding Sol and you're stacking into Sol, the price goes up. Okay, as simple as that. So, Watcher Guru just speculating here. Van Eck, they said it could reach 50% of ETH's market cap. Okay, so I mean the bull source is coming out. And if we take a look at the bigger picture, do you not like Solana, right? Is that what you're doing here?
I just feel like everyone's a little too bullish too fast.
Soul, bro. You got to have some soul. Okay, so on the daily, you can see the situation. Look what is staring in front of you to the upside. The 200-day moving average, that is in your way. Okay, if we get that little pump that we're looking at on this total 3 chart that we've just spoken about there, if we get that little pump into that 200-day moving average on the total 3 chart, I'm expecting Sol this week, okay, to start pushing into this 160, 165 region. This is a nice, juicy little resistance area. This is a nice danger zone, okay, for people sitting in high leverage longs and things like that on Solana. Okay, we're looking out here. If we pop into that zone, okay, looking for that reaction there into Friday. Now, what happens if things turn ultimately bullish here and things start ripping? Well, it's going to be a very simple Solana game plan here. Let me show you the story. Once we've broken a nice horizontal, you can see we can use that again as support. Once we've broken a nice moving average, like the 50-day in red, you can use that again as support. Look at that. We've popped up. We've dipped down onto the 50-day moving average at 140. That was our support. Now we're at the 200-day, which is another critical marker for me on all these altcoins. And once we break through the 200-day MA, we're going to be able to use that as support again. So if we do push higher, we're looking for this pullback onto that zone. And we're going to long from here with confidence onto that 200-day MA. That's going to be new longs at about 154 to 150 for me on that retest. We're going to use that as our support. Then we're going to send this one a lot higher. Okay, and I'm looking at 190, easy game plan. 204, easy game plan. 210, easy game plan. But understand, along the way, we got to get flushed out. They're going to come for you. They're going to grab your stops. They're going to move. They're going to play games all day long. So that is why we go level by level and we trade these big zones by big zones, and we go carefully along the way, protecting ourselves, protecting our risk all the way. Okay, so we've got, you can see our 50-day MA, solid support. When we break the 200-day, solid support. When we break the horizontal, solid support again. Okay, and we're just going to go area by area here on Sol, step by step, all the way higher. And then as we go, we can bring our stops higher up and just make sure we are de-risking under these key levels. Okay, so Sol, you've got targets here, especially for the spot buyers. I'm still sitting in the Sol position. No reason to exit just yet. I am looking for higher. My average entry is 129.7 here. And, you know, I'm well below those support bands at the moment. So if we do get some kind of flush, I should be okay, provided it's not, you know, too aggressive. And then I am targeting those higher levels on Sol. So we don't want to jump out too early on this one. I do suspect we can see a little bit higher there. And there's Lido there at the bottom as well. That thing is starting to cook for us too. So hopefully some of you guys took that Lido trade. Before we get onto some of these other alts, let's go degen on Sol here. Now, let's say you have missed a couple of opportunities. You got tons of FOMO. You don't know what to do. Okay, what you can, okay, you could dial in. Okay, we're dialing into the 1 hour here for the degen plays, and you can start learning from these setups. Okay, what I want you guys to see today is how these altcoins are reacting in bullish conditions. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a couple of charts here today. Okay, so the key here is if you've missed some of these plays, I'm going to give you the blueprint on setting up for these scalper plays. You're going to see how they react on these fibs. You're going to see where you can get your buy. So make sure you are sticking around here. The lesson is about to begin. So what I've done here is I've dialed into Sol on the 1 hour chart and drawn up a little picture. So I try and get a nice little neat picture for myself. You can see what happened here. We had a downtrend and that trend got broken. Okay, so that would typically give you one or two opportunities there for a typical position. Then we've seen Sol has now pumped, and what has it done? It's broken through horizontal bands. Now, I love horizontals, okay? I love horizontal levels. I like them a little bit more than I like trends, okay? So here's our nice horizontal. We've popped through the horizontal on Sol. What do? Reject off the 200-day MA? Yes, correct, okay? We haven't touched this MA in ages, okay? So first tap, generally, you get some kind of rejection. What have they done? They come back and they've retested the horizontal. But the key here for you guys is that you want to find confluence. You don't want to just use a horizontal. You want to see other factors that tie in to make an area or give an area strength. So one of them that I've used here is the 382 fib. So I've pulled a fib from the lows on Sol on the 23rd, Monday the 23rd, to the absolute highs, okay? And that retest that you just saw over there, okay? Look at that perfect bounce on that 382. So that would have given you your degen bounce entry. Now, naturally, these degen plays are higher risk, okay? Typically because you can get your bounce, and then as you can see now, they might come send you back down to that 618. But what we do know is we typically get very strong bounces off the 382 and the 618. Uncle is here.
Remember you said bearish the other day? I said you guys are going to get wrecked. You remember that day?
We still bearish.
Everyone
still bearish.
Everyone was here. I said you're going to get wrecked. You remember that day?
That short printed. I shorted Matt.
Oh, see that?
I shorted Matt.
I think you've got
the receipts.
You got witnesses. You got 1,000 witnesses in.
You're talking memes today. What were you talking about? I'm talking work. I'm talking bonk. I'm talking.
I was talking about total 3, but I think you have to talk about total 3.
Did you cover that as well?
What?
That one.
That's the line, bro. Are you still bearish?
No. I want to Okay, we've broken trend. Let's pull the chart up. So
You can't be bearish here, bro.
Okay, no, I'm not bearish. I'm just cautious. I don't want people to get wrecked here. You know what happens? The guys get wrecked on leverage. Okay, you get rinsed in a bull market. You don't want to get rinsed in a bull market. So this is why we're here. We're playing it safe.
Bro, can we just talk about what's on your desk? Hold on, move up.
This guy's
What's
killing
going
me.
on here, bro?
It's chewing gum.
But how many? I mean, like,
Just in case. And there's Tabasco.
I mean, how much chewing gum?
One
is
moment,
there, bro?
guys. One moment.
Pause. He's killing me. He's killing me.
Can we talk about
It's
this?
beard gel.
Why have you got hairstyling gel
'Cause I
when you got
style
no
my beard.
hairstyling, bro?
I style my beard.
You got no hairstyle. You got no
Beard
hair.
gel.
You're buying.
Unbelievable.
Bro,
He's
you
killing
can't-
me.
Should I just take over, guys? What's happening?
Okay, also,
No, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me. Fuck.
in case anyone's
Oh,
ever
this guy's
planning
killing me.
to be sick, we've got aspirin, probiotics.
I'll just take over, guys. What charts do you guys want to see?
Guys, if you ever need meds, just come and step into my office. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay, Run. Well, thanks for hanging. Are you bullish? Are you turbo bullish?
I'm bullish on all the meds.
Okay, he's bullish on the meds in my office. Okay, cool.
I'm bullish on all the merch.
Okay, I need to get back to business here. The guys are going to get rinsed. You see, 1 minute candles. Look at this thing. They're sending it down. I mean, 1 hour candles. 1 hour candle.
Well, you can finish now. Bull market finished.
Bull market's over, bro. We're done.
You should go home.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Bye.
Okay. Okay, guys, back to normal viewing. Let's go. Where were we, Ray? Where were we? We're covering Sol. Okay, we were going through a little lesson here for you guys. So typically you get that 382 bounce. That is where you get your first reaction. Now, you often get a strong reaction off these types of fibs. So that 382 bounce, nice, strong. And then you can put your bang your stops directly under those lows. Okay, so typically if you get that little reaction there, for example, on 148.9 that you saw here perfectly on that 382, once you get that bounce, you just bang your stop underneath that zone, and then you get a nice little reaction. Now, typically, and it depends on the conditions. Okay, we saw when the market was relatively choppy, the 382 was just a bounce zone on the way to the 618. Now, things are super bullish at the moment, so things could change a little bit, but we have seen in the past, 382 gives you the bounce, then you print the lower high, then they send you to that 618, and then the trend continues. Okay, so this is a typical degen type setup for you guys. So if we do get a strong bounce off that 382, naturally you just bang your stop under that zone, let it play out. There is a chance that it does come lower back to the 618, and then we play that 618 exactly the same way. Okay, and one of these zones is quite often the area that you get your next bullish move from. So typically today we had a meltdown in the market. What did they do? 382 fib, bang, and up she goes. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of other examples here as well on some of these other alts. Now let's talk some of these bangers, and I dropped this earlier today on Twitter. Follow me at the Lord of Entry. Follow me on Twitter, and I was looking at a couple of Sol memes, and I was saying the clear underperformers except for Popcat. Okay, but Sui outperformed, Say outperformed, Tower outperformed. In fact, Celestia probably outperformed these things. And, anything, any shitcoin, even XRP has outperformed some of them. And if you look at the list here, Bonk's only 25% up from the highs. Okay, from the August dump. Myro 39% up from the lows on the August dump, and WIF is 90% up from the lows on the August dump. But for me, potential laggers here in the house. And Chris made an interesting post. He says, WIF's the biggest gainer in the top 100 coins? Probably nothing. Okay. Now we've seen AI tokens wake up. We've seen gaming wake up. We know this. Okay. Where are my meme coins? Why aren't these things absolutely ripping? And I suspect this stuff is coming soon. So I've been positioning myself in some of these memes. We've got some spot plays, we got some margin plays, and naturally we got a couple of leverage plays going on as well. And, my eyes are on these things because we know, okay, we know if you've missed some of the AI runs, you want to grab the next one. And that is why I gave you guys Brett yesterday as well. So let's deal with WIF. Okay, firstly, this has been now a decent pumper today. Okay, we've had a good move in the last couple of days. You can see from our lows on WIF, we've had a nice pump here, 24%. So things are looking pretty decent here. Okay, if you are trading WIF at the moment, you've got a target that you need to pay attention to now. Okay, so things looking pretty bullish here. But first target for me on WIF is going to be 2.2. Okay, that is a big zone that you're watching. And then look at this light blue over here. This is the 200-day MA. Now, WIF is a relatively new token. So the 200-day MA is just getting formed here at the moment. And here it is. So 2.4. Okay, that's another target for you on WIF. So that gives you a 16% move from where we are now. Now we're going to look at a couple of other alts and see how far the move is to the 200-day MA, because we've seen this situation. BTC pushing to the 200-day after breaking the 50. Same with ETH and same with Phantom, AVAX, Sol, all these types of things. Now we're dealing with altcoins that have only just broken the 50-day, and they are being led by Bitcoin and others. And now we want to see which ones can get to the 200-day next, and what is that distance? Okay, so any charts that you guys are looking at, you can bang out the 200-day MA, bang out the 50-day, and start working out the distance to that 200-day, and to give you a guide as to some of the laggers and some of the work that can still be happening on some of these some of these altcoins. So let's look at a quick degen play here on WIF. So we've got our upside targets. We can see that they are clear, they are locked in, 2.2, 2.4. Now, how do we deal with that in the short term? Okay, let's zoom in and look at a couple of areas of interest, a couple of support zones for us if we do get a little push lower down. So the first thing I want to identify here is our horizontal support on the daily. We can see this is a nice juicy zone here for us, roughly 1.9, that type of region. Okay, well, that's a nice big juicy horizontal there. And now we're going to zoom in and take a look and see, where does this tie in? Okay, on a lower time frame. If I'm looking for degen entries here, I'm looking for leverage setups and those types of things. How do I go about this? And the first area of interest is this 236 fib. Now, you've heard me talk about a 236 fib before as the most bullish fib or the most bearish fib. So now when the market is dumping hard, okay, you get bounce fibs. 236, 382, 618. Wait, hold on. It's on my camera. This thing's absolutely rugging me here. Hold on. Ray, am I getting right?
I don't see you, sir. Where are you, sir? Please come back. No pic. Try exiting and jumping back in. Sheesh, guys. First ran, now the camera. Just trying to get these lungs in.
I'm coming back on a different cam, but I'm still here. Okay, we are good to go. This Mac thing, if anybody knows, whenever I put a thumbs up, it like freezes my screen. I mean, what is going on here? Okay, so we're Macking it at the moment. We're Mac camming this thing. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is WIF. Now, your most bullish fib that you are looking at is the 236, or your most bearish fib. So remember, if you get a hard dump here and we get a nice pump in the market, your general reaction zones are the 236, 382, and 618 fibs that you're going to be watching. So we can do the same thing for a nice pump. What we can do is we can grab our fibs from the low to the high, and you start looking for some bullish bounce zones. Now, the 236, when something is super bullish, you look for the reactions off the 236. And I want to just highlight for you WIF today. Okay, look at that 236 fib bounce, look at that consolidation in that region, and then a nice big pop here on WIF for us. So right now, looking a little bit bearish off this 236 fib. You can see we're double topping here at the moment. So this could be an opportunity building here for you guys. Opportunity one is another bounce here at 197, 1.97, or alternatively, you're looking for this next move now and consolidation into 1.9. Now that, for me, is a hot zone on WIF. And why is that a hot zone for me? Well, look how it ties in to the daily horizontal. Wouldn't that be a beautiful retest onto that daily horizontal there for us on WIF? Okay, so 1.97, degen zone number 1, 1.9, degen zone number 2 that you're going to be paying attention to. So very simple game plan here. And you can see this thing is in a rising trend. So typically when we lose the rising trend, then we are turning bearish again. So we're not going to worry about that now. Okay, when we lose the trend, we will deal with it. But if you're looking for degen entries and things like that, it's 1.97, or you're looking at 1.904. Okay, those are your safest bets for any degen plays. And then bigger picture stuff, guys, spot traders and things, you actually have nothing to worry about at the moment. Okay, we've broken great levels, we've broken great MAs. You guys are just chilling. Okay, margin traders that took entries 5 days ago, a week ago, whatever, you guys are chilling. Okay, you've done the hard work, you've got your entries, you've broken 50-day MAs, you've broken big levels. So now you guys just cruising. Okay, well done for sticking to it when the market was choppy. Well done for doing all that work. Now you guys are cruising. Leverage traders, now this is squeaky bum time when you're trying to get your entries on some of these tokens. But when you do, okay, eventually these things start moving and then you can relax a little bit. So remember, once this thing bounces, you're gonna sort your stops out quite quickly. You want to bring them up and just protect yourselves as much as possible along the way. Okay, Ray, I wanted to see if I can fix this camera situation here of mine. Let me see if I can just switch back to the other situation and see if we're there. There we are. Okay, we're back. Okay, remind me not to give a thumbs up until I sort out this issue with the Mac. Okay, ZoomX comp, guys, things are going well. Look, FJ the second, he's back. Okay, the guy called Phantom again. He's an absolute Phantom savage, this guy, and here he is. So he's 300% up at the moment. He's in line, okay, to win the $1,000 first prize. Remember, anybody who's trading on my ZoomX link in this competition, ZoomX have been kind enough to give a prize. So first prize is $1,000. Second prize is $600 for looks like 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗟𝗏167, and third prize is going to be $400. Okay, so we got to wait naturally till the competition ends, but you can see we are currently coming third. And yes, the disciples of entry, guys. I mean, this is amazing. That's going on. Amazing stuff happening here. And let's see how many days we got left here. Let's just see what's going on. 1 day, 17 hours left. Okay, it's not too late. It's one leverage trade. It's one banger that can send you. So guys, cooking at the moment. Well done. And let's see if we can push through. And hopefully we get one more banger there. And I'm sitting in GRT. I'm hoping that thing is going to start moving for me. And then we'll get some action there. Okay, so let's update now on a couple of others. Now we're dealing with WIF. We know. Okay, nice little lagger there. What I wanted to do is talk about Bonk as well. Okay, this thing naturally is going to wake up. And what I've highlighted here for you guys is the distance to the 200-day MA, 24%. Now, if we look at the distance to the 200-day MA for WIF, and that is 16%. So maybe there's a little bit more in the tank here potentially for Bonk. But what do I like about Bonk? We've done the hard work. The 50-day moving average has been broken. Okay, that automatically locks in the 200-day MA as your next target. If we're going to copy the blueprint from all these other altcoins, naturally the 200-day becomes the next target. Okay, so Bonk has a great start here. Key support, I mean, we did deal with this one yesterday, or we dealt with this one this week, but your main support is about 9.9% down. So spot traders, you guys are chilled. Margin 3x traders, you guys are relaxing. And then your next support level that you can use is about it's just under the 50-day moving average. So you're going to be looking at the level here at 0.18. Okay, now let's dial into this thing and try and get a little picture, okay, because this looks pretty decent. And you can see I've got the degen set up here for you guys, and look what's happened. Now, just like I've shown you on these other two tokens, we looked at WIF, we looked at Sol. Look at this retest. I pulled a fib from the lows, Monday the 23rd. You can mimic this on all of your altcoins. Monday the 23rd, you pull a fib from the low to the high. Look at that reaction off the 382. Look, it's absolute perfection again. Okay, now these are two different altcoins bouncing off 382s. Okay, incredible. We've got another one bouncing off a 236. Look how these things tie in when there's a dump. And at the same time, we had that dump earlier. Bitcoin hit a 618 on a lower time frame as well. Okay, so this is key stuff here, and it's absolute perfection. I mean, look how this thing is tapping that 382 so beautifully. So Bonk looking decent here for us in the meantime. And what you're going to watch, degens, okay? If you are looking at this area, you can see you've got your 184 is your support. That is your previous resistance. Okay, now that is your support that you're going to be watching. You do have a potential downtrend in place, so you just want to watch yourself here. You could get a situation where they come and send it back one more time, but watch that. This is big support now for you, this 0.0184. If we do dip lower, it's 177. That is going to be your next big zone that you're going to be paying attention to. Note this 50-day MA floating around here. So I would say look for a wick down into that area, something along those lines. But that is now a big, juicy zone for us. We want to hold that, okay? The bulls want to hold this level now. Bonk needs to give us some energy. Now, upside targets for Bonk, short term. Okay, 0.02. Okay, that's a short little move that we're looking at. Then we can dial up a little bit higher and we can take a look. The 100-day MA as well, 0.021. So these are nice low time frame targets for you guys, but bigger picture stuff. Okay, long way to go. Okay, we've got 22 and we've got 26. There's some nice little targets here on Bonk. Now, I expect these to be hit sooner rather than later, but at some point, we're going to have a little bit of chop in between. Okay, so we just need to be prepped for that and make sure you understand where your big levels are, where your big zones are. Okay, let's see what is cracking here. In 𝗬𝗥, you can see I've got a little bit going on, and I wanted to show you something interesting here. At the top is a little 𝗬𝗢𝗓 short that I've opened. We're going to deal with that in a second. Then I've got ENS that I've spoken to you guys about this week as well. It was one of the ETH plays. That thing is breaking trend. And then I've got Brett. That was from yesterday. And we've got BMEX in here. And I've still got Injective that is still doing its thing. Okay, so we're letting these things play out now and do a couple of moves for us. But we're going to talk about Brett and we're going to talk about 𝗬𝗢𝗓. And I'm going to explain my thinking behind that. So, Brett traders, if you guys got this yesterday, well done. Okay, this was a banger. What did we see yesterday? We identified 50-day MA was under pressure. We were looking for a break above the 50-day MA. We started laddering into this Brett, and then this thing started firing off. So now on the daily, you can see Brett is looking good. Okay, if you take a look at this view, we've had a nice clean break of the 50-day MA, which is always what we want to see. We don't want a little break. We want a big break because that tells us we're going to get nice support on any pullback. So right now, for me, on Brett, it's playing the game perfectly. You can see this little squeezy setup that we were looking at yesterday. That has now played the game. And big support on this higher time frame on Brett is going to be the 0.082 level, 0.08. And that is looking good from that perspective. Now, remember, can I help you there, sir? Remember, we've got our weekly pivot, tight weekly pivot. That gave us a clue. We had tight weekly pivots on WIF. We had tight weekly pivots on Bonk as well. And there were clues there that things were going to be happening. So nice little support band here for us. If you're in this Brett trade, nothing to worry about. What I can suggest is if you are, well, depending on your leverage, okay, if you're sitting in spot, no big deal. But if you're sitting in high leverage, what you can do is raise your stop a little bit now to just under that 50-day MA. So I would say somewhere around 0.081, maybe 0.08. That could be an area of interest that you want to be watching. Okay, so that could be a nice support for you. And then bigger picture, we're looking for the trend break. I'm naturally looking for bigger things on Brett. You can see I've highlighted some upside targets for you. The minute we get some momentum, I'm expecting Brett at 0.1. I'm expecting Brett at 0.11. And I'm expecting Brett at 0.139. Okay, so that is a upside of about 70% that we're going to be looking at there for Brett. But nice little start there. So hopefully some of you guys did grab that one. And then here again, DGen setup and exactly the same, okay, as these other ones. It's actually unreal how this stuff plays out. Look at this. I've grabbed the fib from the lows again on the 23rd of September. All I did on that pump was drag the fib from the low to the high. Look where you get your retest. What do? They come back and they test horizontals. Okay, look at this. Horizontals and a 382. Okay, it's almost to perfection. It's just pinged this thing absolutely beautifully. Look at that. And again, gives you a nice little entry play if you are late to the game. Okay, remember the best plays, the best trades. Okay, the best ones for me when we're melting down, when the market is horrible, everyone's getting scared, we're dropping into my juicy zones. That is the best area. Okay, the next play for us is breakouts when things are turning bullish. So now we're trying to play catch up with the rest of the market. Everybody else got their entries earlier. Now we're trying to play catch up. So we're playing these breakouts, we're playing the retest, we're playing trend breakouts and those type of things. And remember, as you start playing these breakouts, your stop risk starts increasing because you are moving away from the hot, juicy support zones. You are moving into sort of secondary support levels. So right now, you can see we've got the breakout, we've got the retest on Brett. So we're going to watch that now as our first line of support. So this is now 0.0849. Use that as your first line of support, then lower down. I expect a reaction. If we do get a meltdown here, 0.0816. 0.0816. So if we do get a little push down in here, I would expect some kind of reaction off that zone. If they do bleed it harder, that is your next one. Okay, 0.0816. Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay, especially for the leverage traders. If you lose that 618, okay, then things do start turning a little bit bearish again. And we start losing that trend and start sending things down. So watch these areas closely. These are the bull zones, okay, for the leverage traders. Those are the bull zones that you're watching. If you're sitting in a Brett position here, especially on high leverage, you could adjust your stop to under 0.0849, or you could adjust it to under 0.0816. Okay, that's your safest play. And now you've got your upside target. So I'm looking for a pop. Come on, Brett. Come on. Send it. Okay, then Floki. Let's not forget about Floki. Okay, another one that could be an absolute banger. So they've announced another esports partnership here. Marketing is crazy, according to Byzantine General. I think he's quite a big account, this guy. And big market cap memes are starting to bottom out, by the way. WIF is leading the charge, okay, as we know. And things are looking a little bit more rosy on that front. So what I've highlighted here for you guys, again, is an easy algo weekly pivot. Look how tight this thing is here at the bottom, sitting on the 50-day MA. I mean, it's a blueprint here on all of these altcoins at the moment that have had nice big moves here. So that is looking good as a big support marker here for us on Floki, and that is this 0.000128. Okay, that is your big support that you're going to be using for the spot traders and things like that. Then upside targets, look at this. Floki's got 25% to go before it hits that 200-day MA. So another big move on the cards here, potentially for Floki. How does it get there? Well, typically, you can see we're reacting on this 100-day MA right now, but typically I would expect some kind of push there, then a rejection, then maybe back into that 200-day MA. But that thing for me is locked on. Okay, naturally we want to hold our support, our 128. Okay, watch that region, 128 as support. Upside, looking for rejections at 158, looking for rejections at 179. Okay, those are the two hot zones. And let's talk Suhi. Okay, so hear me out. Okay, hear me out. Okay, this thing has been pumping. Okay, this thing's been absolutely ripping. We dealt with this a month or two ago when Suhi was ripping, and it was everyone on Twitter talking shit about it, exiting their bags, using the market to exit. Okay, now this thing is pumping again, and everybody's aped into this. Now there's other tokens out there. At some point, surely all the big names, all these big players that have been riding this thing up 180, 200%, doing all these types of things, at some point, they're going to take profit. Okay, it just makes sense that they rotate into something else. Okay, where will they rotate? Well, that remains to be seen. I've given you a couple of ideas that I think could work today. And, look, we could try squeeze the last few drops out of this rock here for Suhi and try and send this thing higher. Or we can say, okay, maybe this thing's run its course for now. Maybe it's time to either take profit. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to take a short here. What I'm saying is this thing's getting tired. Okay, so if you've been trading this thing, maybe it's time to just de-risk a little bit. Even if you don't want to exit your position, maybe you want to just tighten up your stop, something along those lines. Okay, Suhi can go higher. We know that. Okay, and right now it's sitting at this 1.8 region. We get it. There is another big zone higher up. Okay, 2.1, 2.2. But I expect at some point this thing is getting tired. I'm going to explain a little bit more behind the thought process as well, and I expect this thing to start potentially falling over for us. So obviously, it's going to be helped by the market as well, falling over. So first things first. First thing I wanted to show you guys, you can see, here's our Suhi highs from the 26th of March. That is a major reaction zone. Now we are in an okay reaction zone, 1.8. The reason being it's a 786 fib, but I don't have much backup. Okay, I don't have much, high, like banger areas here. I've got okay areas here. But what is interesting or intriguing to me is that you can see the price has been pushing higher. Look at the yellow marker. I'm going to zoom in now. Okay, let's just zoom in so you guys can get a clear picture as to what's going on. See that yellow? Okay, the price is moving up. But look at this regular RSI that I'm using here. This thing is trending down. Okay, so that is a bit of bearish divergence. So the price is going up, but the momentum is starting to slow down. The momentum is saying, hang on, maybe at some point this thing is going to get tired. Now, it doesn't mean we can't get a last few kicks of a dying horse out of this thing. It doesn't mean they can't come and flush everyone trying to short this thing one more time. Okay, they could easily send it up before they send it lower down. But what I'm pinpointing here to you guys is this thing is getting tired. Okay, so if you are late, long into Suhi, all I can say is, according to the chart, things are getting tired. Looking for a reversal, 1.8 to 1.85, and looking for a reversal at 2.1 to 2.2. One of those zones is most likely going to be a deadly short zone. okay? And very simple game plan. You know, if we start closing above these levels, then the idea is wrong. But if you are heavily long in the market all over the place and you're looking for a hedge, maybe this is something for you. And then naturally, if you close above these areas, the trade is invalidated, it's wrong, you move on, okay? You take your medicine and you keep going. So downside targets for SUI for me, 1.4. I think that's a reasonable target that we could look at. And then 1.15. So I started a short position there. My liquidation is at 1.8. Where's it? 1.84, somewhere around there, okay? It's somewhere around that level, okay? Based on the reaction in that area, I'm going to decide if I'm adding to that position or I'm cutting that position at that level. So I'm going to let this thing play out over the next 24 hours. Let's see how it goes. If we do get some kind of aggressive pump and a reaction in that zone, then we'll make a call as to how we deal with it. But right now it's teed up and I'm looking for things lower down. And then naturally upside areas that you can watch for your next rejection, 2.02 and then 2.1 to 2.2. Those are your big hot zones for SUI. I think it's time. You know, if we get a pullback, I think it's a quick little dip and I think there'll be quick profits to be made. And then, then we crack on from there. Now, you guys remember, you leave your comments after the show and I chart some of the tokens. And one of them today was Beam that Ray has sent me. So thanks. If you want your tokens looked at, leave a comment after the show. Okay, tell me what you want to use. Ray gives it to me, and then we'll chart it for you. So Beam is actually topical as well because I'm sitting in a Beam position, and this was the blueprint or the game plan that I gave you guys on Beam. It must have been last week. Okay, and this was a typical break of horizontal that we were looking at and a little retest. So right now things are playing into our hands here at the moment. So we can see Beam broke a nice horizontal for us, bang. And right now we are busy with our little retest. So what ideally we want to see as bulls is we just want to see this region hold at 1.6. Okay, and we want to try and track this thing up a little bit higher for our next move. 25% to the horizontal and 32% notable to the 200-day MA. Now remember, Beam is a gaming token, but gaming has woken up. Maybe there's a little bit more in the tank. And remember, bullish AVAX, bullish BMX. Okay, that's a nice little combination as well that you can watch. So let's look at a DGen play here on BMX. I've set this one up for you guys, and we're just waiting patiently now. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the fib from the absolute lows because you can see we're in a beautiful 1 hour uptrend. Look how nice this thing is. Just it's a nice little picture. Okay, beautiful little uptrend. And currently this thing is flagging. Okay, so if we can get a flag to drop in our big support zone that we've just looked at. Okay, where's our big support zone? Let's just highlight that again. It's anything at about 163 up to about 167, that type of region there. And look at that. Here's 164, okay, on a 236 fib. So you want to be watching this now today, okay, during the course of the day. If you do get a little move down into that region, for me, I'd be looking for longs down there, okay, or potential adding to positions. Okay, these are for new entries or to add on, or alternatively, you can see this beautiful structured trend coming down. At some point, they're going to start breaking this trend. Okay, if this thing's going to turn bullish and it's going to start sending. So when you start seeing these trend breaks, what you're going to typically do is try and figure out where can you de-risk if the trade goes against you. Okay, so these trend breaks are naturally quite risky, okay, but they do work in bullish conditions. So what you want to see is a strong candle push. Okay, once you get that strong candle push, you can start looking and you're going to bang your stop either under the breakout candle or you're going to bang your stop under that previous low. Okay, so give it a little bit of room underneath, but that's your safest way that you can de-risk or protect yourself if the breakout fails. Because typically, if you do get a breakout, you get a little retest and then you get a send, like I've demonstrated on a couple of these tokens for you. But obviously, on some occasions, the market makers know the game. Okay, you get a little fake out, and what do? They absolutely end you and they send you straight back down. So, you know, manage your risk appropriately. Breakouts are fun, yes, okay? Just manage your risk, get your stops in good places, and try and play key zones, okay? And key areas. Now, I got just an update for you guys on this Bitfunded. This account is now 5 days out of 5. So it looks like stage 2 is now clear. Okay, so now I've got a funded account from Bitfunded. They are giving me a $10,000 real money account that I can now trade with. And, you know, very simple game plan for Bitfunded. If you want to do it or you want to get involved, what you do is you sign up to the link in the show description. There should be a single link now for you. We have fixed that thing. And what you do is you send $49 or $99. You get a $5,000 demo account or a $10,000 demo account. You show them that you can trade. Make 8% phase 1, make 5% phase 2. If you do that, then they hand you real money that you can trade with. You keep 80 to 90% of those profits and off you go. Okay, so if you're new to trading, you don't want to use your real money and you want to trade with someone else's money, this could be something for you, especially if you're learning the game and things like that. Maybe this is something you need to be looking at. So you can watch my show in conjunction with it. You can join Sniper Club, do all these types of things, and then trade with other people's money on Bitfunded. And you can take all these setups and all these types of things. So a good way to practice. And also, what I have learned with this Bitfunded, very interesting, it teaches you discipline. Okay, you got to be super, super sharp with your stuff. You're not allowed to be careless here and things like that, because then you get stopped out and stuff. And it's actually really great mentally. If you guys are learning how to trade, you try and stick to the rules here and get this thing done. Now, naturally, we have these situations where, you know, sometimes we let things bleed out and then they pump higher and then you make your profits. But these guys are very strict. Okay, so you got to make sure that you are a disciplined trader and you are making sure you're getting the best entries and you are running very disciplined stops. If you can do that, then you get through this thing and then you can get a funded account from these guys. So what you can do is just jump into the show description here at the bottom and you're going to see a whole list of things here. MDX Algo that I was talking about today, I was using Wavemaster from MDX. It's a whole suite of indicators that these guys give you. And Chaos has actually been working on something for me with MDX Algo. So we'll be bringing that to you guys shortly. And there's a link there in the description for you guys. All the exchanges that I use. There's no KYC on Prime XBT, no KYC on ZoomX, Blowfin, no KYC on WeX as well. Okay, that should be there. Okay, and you know, it's all going down. And then Sniper Club. Okay, come hang out with us at Sniper Club. It's all going down there. And Sheldon's running a great 10x challenge at the moment. And it's really fun. The market is ripping. Things are green. And he's teaching everybody how to build positions the way he likes to do it. And it's going well. Okay, it's really cooking in there. So if you want some more of that action, come check it out. And last night, we sat on a Zoom. We had 1,000 Sniper Club members come through our Zoom session last night to watch me, Kerwin, Sheldon jumped on later. Craig was there. I think Chaos was there as well. And we were talking about gamifying profits and turning some of these gaming tokens and meme tokens and AI tokens into a nice little game to make money into Christmas. So it was quite a session that we had yesterday. And Kerwin is one of our big researchers that we've got in there for you guys doing the hard yards. And he's making tons of videos and tons of alpha there for you guys. Okay, that is me. And that is you, the bearded goggle man. Did I tell you Ray actually sent me to his beard barber initially? Yeah, Ray used to have a wonderful beard. What are you doing here? Is this long or short?
It's long Doge. Somebody was talking shit, so I just had to like...
Raymond. Okay, guys, that was great. See you tomorrow, Thursday. Oh, early show for me tomorrow. I'm doing a 1:30 p.m. SAST show. So by the time you guys wake up, if you're used to waking up and seeing me live, you might miss that. I'm going to be earlier. Okay, I'll make sure everything there is ready for you guys into the US market open. So early show for me tomorrow. See you guys later.
Order liquidation again.